What's up, Internet? Cory Zamier here. Collecting with Cory, back with the weekly vlog. Starting the year off strong. Um, Basically in a get shit done kind of mood. Cleaned up the room this weekend and actually came across about $600 or so worth of magic cards that I listed up on eBay, and I sold a decent amount of it already. So I'm at the Dollar Tree picking up some shipping material, and it's going to be a good week and a good year. Hey guys, it is Tuesday, and one thing I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about is I talked a little bit about Star Wars last week, is I don't think I've ever talked about I don't know, my rankings on the movies. And now that we have another Star Wars movie, a Star Wars story, if you will, out, figured that would be a good time to go over that. That and it'll keep me awake on this drive to work where I'm stuck in this fucking traffic. So I'm kind of fading, guys. I'm fading. So rather than start at the top, I think I'll start at the bottom of the list. And at the bottom we have Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. At the time when it came out, I fucking loved the movie. But I loved it because of finally being able to see Yoda in a lightsaber battle. Even though it's literally, 15 seconds of the film. Just that little guy jumping around fighting Count Dooku is fucking amazing to me. I remember that was my main reason for liking that movie. I also liked the new bounty hunters, seeing Jango Fett, Zam Wessel. But over time, that movie is glaringly, obviously the worst in the series. The next one would be Phantom Menace. And honestly, basically all of these, when they first came out, I loved them. But over time, as I got older, as I watched them more, I realized they're kind of garbage. I was never that big of a Jar Jar hater. But there are some things with the movie that really, really get to me. The Gungans do suck, and I feel like they could have just been omitted from there completely. They didn't really have a purpose. They just kind of went for the comic relief value. And I question whether or not you'd even need that in a Star Wars movie like that. I know it's always kind of been there, but I feel like someone else could have provided that. And they could have got it from somewhere else. But also, the Gungans, their CGI from back then doesn't age well today. I think I caught a little bit of, the end of Episode 1 on TV a little while ago, and it just looked terrible when you have the Gungans fighting the battle droids out in the field. Duel of the Fates was amazing, of course. Love that song. Great battle with Darth Maul. Darth Maul is one of my favorite Sith Lords. He's just a badass. I'm glad that he's, as far as I know, questionably still alive, according to, all the cartoons and stuff. I don't know if he's been killed off yet. Next up would be Revenge of the Sith. This was actually the only Star Wars movie, or the first Star Wars movie that I saw at midnight. I remember going to see it, and there were people doing lightsaber battles up at the front of the theater while we waited for the movie to start. It was definitely, it was crazy because I remember thinking at the time, this is the last Star Wars movie I'm going to get to see in theaters. Little did I know I'd be seeing a Star Wars movie every year for the rest of my life. How times have changed. I liked it. I feel like it's a little bit confusing, especially when you add in all the extra TV shows they have kind of leading up to it. For instance, how they don't mention that Anakin is explicitly a Jedi Knight already. He kind of seems like a Padawan in the movie still. So, it's weird that they don't mention Ahsoka Tano, his apprentice, which he might have already split from by then. I don't really know the story of all the other, like, Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that. But I feel like it's weird that they don't mention it, and then when they put him on the council in that movie, it's just like, oh, so I'm a master. You're just like, no, you're not a master. But it's just like, but are you a Jedi Knight? Because no one's really said it yet. Like, it's kind of assumed, maybe because you don't have the hair thing, the Padawan hair thing, maybe we should just know. But it's still weird that, you know, you're still kind of treated like Obi-Wan's apprentice the whole time. Anakin definitely gets to be a little bit more of a badass in this movie, taking out Count Dooku very early on. General Grievous was also cool, but it's like another thing where it's like so many other series, like the cartoon Clone Wars series, like feeding into this, that it's just like you have to do so much work to understand what the hell is going on in this movie. Like, General Grievous just appears from out of nowhere, basically, and you're just like, where the fuck was this guy? Where the fuck was this guy? It's just like, shit. Now here's where it gets a little hairy, because we're into the actual good movies. Next up would be Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Of the new movies and the originals, Return of the Jedi is probably my least favorite. And I don't really... I think it's because over time, like, the way I'm kind of ranking these is like which ones I would enjoy watching today, you know? And in Return of the Jedi, like, I enjoy the opening. I enjoy Jabba's palace. But once you get off of Tatooine again, the movie is just kind of like one more act. Like, Luke heads over to Dagobah to complete his training. Yoda dies. And then everybody's on to trying to destroy the next Death Star. And then you got the whole bunch on Endor with the Ewoks, which, once again, is one of those things that, like, just doesn't age well for me. Like, I'm not an Ewok hater. Like, I actually enjoy the Ewok movies, but when compared to the other movies, I just enjoy it a lot less. His final showdown with Vader and turning his father to the light side is nice, but like I said, like, the movie as a whole doesn't really sit as well with me compared to the other ones on this list. Next up would be Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And this one might actually be one that just, like, kind of over time creeps down the list, because I saw it 2 times. The first time I saw it, when I left the theater, I was just like, do I have a new favorite Star Wars movie? And I think that was mostly hype. Like, unlike a lot of people, I really enjoy the CG Tarkin. I really think they did a good job. And the thing is, it's like, if it's where it is right now, in the coming years, it will be even better with the CGing of, like, people that are either too old or too dead to be on screen like that in the form that they are. I think it was fine. The movie is a little jarring with how it jumps around so much in the beginning and how it introduces characters. And on the first viewing, it's kind of hard to keep a beat on who the fuck everybody is. And it gets a lot easier on repeat viewings. However, when I saw it the second time, I definitely enjoyed it a lot less. But there are also some like reasons for that. When I saw it the second time, like, I mainly, because I knew what was going to happen, there were just, like, parts of the movie that are just like, I don't really need to see this part. Like, the whole part where they go to try and get Galen Erso off of that planet. I forgot what the planet's name is. Like, I feel like that entire part is just kind of dead weight in the movie. Like, alright, so she sees her father die. They don't really learn anything more than they already knew. They just basically fail to rescue her father, and then they dip. And when I was sitting there the second time, I was just like, can we fast forward through this, guys? Like, nothing, like, the battle here isn't particularly interesting, and you don't really get much out of the story other than Jin finds out that Cassian might kill her father. Like, that's what he was sent there for. And it's just like, that's like, compared to how bad that should be to her, like how badly she should react to that, she like basically like gets mad at him for a second, and then 2 scenes later they're cool. Because he's on her side as far as wanting to actually get the Death Star plans. The ending sequence is pretty cool. Once they get to I forgot what the name of the place is. Wherever the Imperial data facility is, was really cool. Like that whole planet, the whole shield around the planet. The space battle was amazing. I liked seeing the Hammerhead cruiser take out the 2 Star Destroyers. That's a cool concept that I don't think we've seen before, unless it's in like, you know, the cartoons or the CG TV shows or whatever. Definitely liked all the callbacks, the Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba earlier in the movie. Gold Leader, Red Leader, all that shit was really cool to see. Everybody dies in the end, which is, you know, understandable because no one's around for future movies, so it makes sense. And of course, Darth Vader rules. He's my favorite Star Wars character of all time, followed by Boba Fett. So it was nice seeing him piece people up in that hall. Although, like, the entire time I'm thinking, like, and I think this a lot with evil Force users mainly, is if the Force is so strong, if I were in your position, I would use it so much better. Like in that situation when Darth Vader's trying to recapture the plans, like why didn't he just like force hold everybody in place, walk up, get the plans, and decapitate everybody with his lightsaber on the way back? Like, it didn't have to be a thing. Like, if he's supposedly one of the strongest people in the Force in the entire galaxy, why couldn't he have done that? Like I said, when I was watching this movie, I did end up learning of Carrie Fisher's passing, like, in the middle during a bathroom break. So that kind of, like, killed my mood near the end. And, like, I almost came to tears when I saw her CG image at the end, and that's a weird thing. Like, whenever I see Carrie Fisher's image now, I just kind of like well up a little bit inside, because she's been with me, you know, since I was like 5. As far as like me being a fan of Star Wars and stuff, so it's whatever. Next up, I would say The Force Awakens, which I've previously had at the number 1 on my list, but it's definitely come down since we rewatched A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back recently. Like, I really needed to bring Force Awakens back down to where it should be. And before I get too into this movie, the main reason I wanted to talk about Force Awakens right now is, like I said, with the whole Darth Vader, like, stopping everybody using the Force, Kylo Ren seems to be a very powerful Force user. Like, he's able to stop blaster bolts and shit. There's a point when the rebels are coming to the Starkiller base that he just, like, sees them coming. Actually, I don't know if this is a deleted scene or not. It might have been one of the deleted scenes where he's out in the snow and he sees them coming. And it's just like, if I were him and I saw a whole bunch of X-Wings running up on us, and I'm that powerful in the Force, I probably would have just destroyed their ships with the Force right there. Made them crash into each other. Anything you could possibly do, I would have done it. And the battle would have been over. It would have been like, whoops, swatted some flies. You know? But I guess that, you know, doesn't tell a good story, so I don't know. I guess the movies would be a little bit different if the Force just conquered all at all points, you know? Like, people just were able to do ridiculously destructive shit with the Force. But yeah, The Force Awakens, definitely next on my list. And it was number 1, but it fell down. It does have a little bit too much in terms of similarity to A New Hope, but they were definitely trying to, you know, please the new Star Wars fans and the old Star Wars fans at the same time. I think they did a really good job. Like, they made us care about the characters. Like, I care about Finn, I care about Rey. I really want to know who Rey's father is, or what her parent, you know, her lineage is. Really hoping it's like she's the granddaughter of Obi-Wan or something. But I realize I'm running long on this clip, and I'm running low on time, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Next up, I would have A New Hope. I just think it's a fucking classic, and of all the movies that I watch over and over and over again, it's one of those ones that I could probably just sit there and watch on repeat all day. Just have it in the background, wouldn't get sick of it. I just love it. Like, it's in my opinion like the perfect sci-fi movie. And of course, at the top of my list and at the top of many people's list, as it should be, The Empire Strikes Back. Every aspect of this movie is just amazing. Hoth is a fucking incredible battle and an incredible sequence of, you know, them trying to rescue Luke when he gets trapped out in the snow, cutting open the Tauntaun to keep him warm, the Wampa attack, that was pretty cool, taking down the AT-ATs with the tow cables. Of course, Darth Vader's there, sees the Millennium Falcon, could easily stop it with the Force, doesn't, you know, the same thing, like, whenever a Force user on the dark side has the opportunity to do something like that, they just don't. And the running theme that the Falcon just keeps malfunctioning, and the fucking hyperdrive never works for the entire fucking movie is fucking amazing. You get to see all the bounty hunters for the first time. The first appearance of Boba Fett in this movie, if you don't count the fucking special edition, which I don't. It's really amazing. Like, so much expanded universe that they've wiped out of existence came out of this movie with all the bounty hunters. It's crazy. And then the epic battle on Cloud City. Also, you have the fucking first appearance of Lando. My fucking dude. Probably like my third favorite Star Wars character. I used to have a pretty cool shirt with Lando's face on it. It's like, back in the day, you used to be able to make custom shirts from StarWars.com. I don't think you can anymore. But you used to be able to put basically anything on a fucking shirt with Star Wars images. And I had Lando's face and the text underneath it, player. Now, unfortunately, it was a white shirt, so it like got worn out pretty quick, but that was definitely one of my favorite shirts of all time. And now I'm at work. I have 4 minutes left before I have to go in, and this clip has been going for almost 18 minutes. So this is either going to be a really long vlog, or you're not going to see much more of me this week. I don't know which it'll be, but yeah. Alright guys, here being disappointed by Kmart for probably the last time, which is a random thing to say, but they're going out of business here in Connecticut, finally, like the last 2 stores, I think. And they used to have this Jolly Rancher soda that I'm just not seeing. It's the only place I've seen in-state that has it. I've seen it out-of-state, but never in-state, other than here. And they don't have any. I didn't see a Mylar for it, but it's about time we're on the weekly vlog. Now's as good a time as any. Yesterday you would have seen a pickup that I made 10 minutes ago at this point, and it was for an OfferUp deal where I actually picked up some games from the loss prevention manager, or the former loss prevention manager of Walgreens, which is random. Yeah, but OfferUp deal. It's randomly who it was, so I just thought that was a weird anecdote. I don't know if I'll remember to mention it in the video that I have to still make that you would have seen yesterday. But as confusing as that was, like the video, subscribe if you're new. Have a good week. And as always, keep it real, internet. I love you guys.
E to the U to the E, man.